hammer it in. So I'm thinking of putting one set of T-posts in this row here. This is a winter squash to get this a little bit off the ground. Looks like there's many. Hi, it's a few days later, and as you can tell, I'm in my car on my way to the community garden at a stop. And I thought I'd make a bit of an introduction as to what I plan to do today. So there'll be a little bit of segments here and there. So as I make my way slowly to the enclosed area, I'm actually driving very directly to the gardening space here, which it's safe to record. But the plan today is to put up some trellising. So I'm going to scope out first if I have T-posts available to use as trellising. I'm sure there's enough hardware cloth or mesh that I can put up. And I'm going to go through my goodie bag, garden goodie bag that I bring with me, just with things I plan to do. If I get to it, it would be wonderful. But the main goal for today is to put up trellising. And I'm going to be getting help on that from my husband. So I'm going to check to see that everything is here, either in the bin that's in the enclosed area, and let him know if he should come on by to help out. And I'll take you along for what is going to be done today. So the temperature today is going to go up to 101, and the time right now is actually exactly 8:03 a.m. and it's already, I think, 85 degrees. So it's going to be a hot one, and I got started for that reason early. But this is what's in my goodie bag, as I'd call it. Liquid fertilizer for both the trees except the citrus tree. I mentioned in the last post that the citrus tree has already been fertilized with its own special fertilizer. And then I have bags here in case I harvest anything, but I think I'm going to transition over to these baskets that I got, and it worked out really well to keep the vegetables not so I guess in a bag where it could condense. And then this is compost for in-ground composting that I'm trying with a mesh. I got the idea from Angela in Growing in the Garden on YouTube. I'll link her channel or a video of hers in the description of this vlog. And then I have water with electrolytes. It gets so hot. I usually finish this for sure, along with a water bottle that I have here with ice. I'm going to show it because it's very important to have water. By the way, there is a porta potty, so I definitely make sure I take breaks to because I drink so much water. But and then a hat in here. Oops. A snack. All these little details, but it's important. And then some recording gear for YouTubing. Once I'm outside, for the first vlog, I forgot to put one of the contraptions in, and I think that's why I got so much wind noise. And then these are sleeves for my hands in case I'm not wearing long sleeves. Today I happen to be wearing some. And then I noticed that the roselle, and I did start passion fruit at home, and both did not come out because I was away for about 3 weeks. So I'm going to re-sow these in pots and take them home. The seeds are in here, both of them, and take care of it more closely. And I think that's about it in the bag here. I've had a chance to look through the supplies, and there are 4 T-posts there on the short side here, but I'm gonna make do with what's here, and there's 4, so I can do 2 rows. And I have the mallet to hammer it in. So I'm thinking of putting one set of T-posts in this row here. This is a winter squash to get this a little bit off the ground. Looks like there's many sprouts So multiple, some might even trail on the ground, but if some goes on the trellis, that would be great. I did forget to mention on my first vlog that there are onions here that I am saving, especially this one here. You can tell that it has a flower head. These will become potential seeds, and I put a marker on it, burlap string, just so that Leticia and anyone else coming into the garden knows not to pull that out. It needs to completely dry out, so probably the onion will be, the bulb part will be compromised, but we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll salvage a little bit. So there's this one here. It's a white variety, or maybe, I think because it had a pinkish tone, one of these, there's another one here. Maybe this one had a pinkish tone, so this one I marked as well. And I'm not sure if I showed the eggplant, how far along it was, but you can tell that they're nice baby ones that have formed. I might harvest this today. There's 2 of them. And I think I already called my husband to come by. I'm going to go ahead and pull the mulch back in this area here for the apricot tree and the fig tree, and apply that liquid fertilizer and water it in. Actually water in first, then apply the fertilizer, and then water it again so it goes down deep. And get started with that. Moving the mulch out took about 10 to 15 minutes, but you can tell that I've gone around and exposed the weed cloth, the black part there. So I'm going to water it in next. This is the apricot, which I'm going to harvest all the apricots because they are definitely done. There were 2 on the ground when I got here, and they don't look so hot. Maybe it is just their time to be picked, and this one looks so beautiful. So yeah, looks like I'm gonna have like 6 of them here. 2, 4, 6, maybe 7 or 8 good ones, with the 2 that were on the ground. And then I did the same thing for around the fig tree, moved the excess mulch in the walkway here because it was pretty low on mulch, so it worked out well. And I'll show you what I do next. Trellising is up. I just have to secure it right now, but my husband was here helping out and he's about to leave, so what I'm doing is harvesting some things for him to take because it's only going to get hot. I did harvest 1 strawberry. I'll put a picture up here. It wasn't the greatest, but it looks like something is coming and getting the small one, so I was lucky to get that little bit. So I harvested some Thai basil from here. There's very little pickings. We're planning to make Thai food soon, and we'll use up Itoy onions. And this is stevia. Got 2 sprigs of it. I'm going to dry this up. It was really good when I had it, the dry one from the first video I put up. If you want to check that out, I had put it in some herbal tea, and then I harvested a few of the apricots. There were 2 on the ground, so I picked ones that were ready on the tree, and there's about 5 or 6 left still that could use some time to ripen. Hello and welcome to my channel. This is the video log, the second one in the series, and I'm going to continue on with the garden in the next row from P3. If you want to see the first one, you can view what all was done, or what is in the rows for that matter. But I'm going to turn you around and show you the next few rows and go through what was done, which was quite a bit. I've been here since 8 o'clock and the current time is about noon. So I'm really in my happy place. So this is the row that I ended the last video log on, P3, I'm calling it, then P4. So here's a quick span before I begin, because I'm not sure I'll get too far, but it looks different from the last, or this month's first vlog. I think I'm only going to get a couple of rows done here. So there's mint over here. I did harvest a whole bunch of stuff, and I'm sure that has been viewed already. I sent that off with my husband. And then Itoy onion over here. Snapdragon. I will be pruning the snapdragon since there's some spent flowers. And then this tomato here doesn't look too hot. Leticia said that she has been spraying neem oil. I'm not sure if anyone's watching, if they have any opinion on neem oil. I know that it needs to be applied early in the day or late in the evening, but only half of this tomato plant is torched, which is very odd. And it looks like the same, it's just one tomato plant. I just got thinking now, maybe there's 2 stems in there, but I believe it's just one. And then green onion, I planted that early on in the season. I thought, why not have continuous onion greens if I really need quite a bit of it. And eggplant over here, I'll be harvesting this probably early next week. I just bought some from the Asian grocery store, but check that out. There's about 4 of them, 3 or 4 of them that are going to be ready. And then this is a weed. I will have to take that out. I have been weeding as I go along, wherever I end up. I try to pull weeds. And then here's another eggplant. I did harvest Thai basil again, more onion. So this is gonna also help repel the green onions I'm talking about here, going back. And hopefully it'll keep the squash bugs away. I think that's what they called. And here's another tomato plant. This has a lot of foliage and not many tomatoes. There's only probably about 4 or 5 of them. There's one here, and then 2, and then a few more here. So actually there are quite a bit. Maybe they're tucked in the bottom. Yeah, there's one there. So maybe they're just hiding. They don't want to be seen. And I try to train it so that it's not going into the pathway here. But Leticia did say that she's going to prune some of the greens. And she said that she looked at a video on YouTube for pruning the bottom leaves. But for Arizona, I don't think that is recommended because of the intense heat here. Plus, it's not as humid as other parts of the country. Here, it's very, very dry. So leaving those leaves at the bottom, not all of them, at least, the ones that are torched here, I have been taking out, but I don't prune so much so that it has the stem exposed or the ground. And then here's Itoy onion and a nasturtium. This one's not doing too good. And then the compost, I did add to it. You'll see a picture here. Picture or 2 maybe. And then let's move on to P5. And I'm just calling it this so that I can keep track of it. This is a squash, a winter squash. I'll get to the name of it. It's on the other end of the trellising here, which definitely went up. This was, what an accomplishment. My husband was here to help, and I put on the zip ties on each of the T-posts. This is kind of low for the squash, but again, I'm not too sure what the habit is for the growth of this. So as the season goes on, it might be okay, or it will end up on the floor. It's better than nothing. It will cover the ground. And then these tomatoes here, one here and one here, I actually transplanted it from the other side of the garden early on in the season because there were onions in this row in P5. So that's why it was empty, and I thought, let me just experiment and stick some excess tomato plants or starts in the ground. This was an actual start. This was a cutting, if you believe it or not, and it's flowering, which is it's nice to see, encouraging, and I'm doing this to allow it to pollinate. It's self-sterile, so you just have to shake it. I'll correct myself if that's not really true. I'll look it up, but that's what I remember of tomatoes. And then I don't remember what this was. I'm guessing it's black-eyed peas. I just stuck it in because it was bare and I just wanted to cover the ground as much as I could. And I'll cover it a little bit more because now it looks like the sun is completely on it. I did start up more seeds of roselle because they did not come up in this area over here. And I put that in about 3 weeks ago. So I think it needed to be top watered to have success in its sprouting. See, I'm again pulling weeds, but more beans. And then this is the same squash as it is on the other end. And I was able to trellis it, and I used string to train it because some of the branches or vines were very long. So hopefully that will be okay, and I haven't choked anything. We did kill a few branches or vines because we were working on this. This squash, by the way, is the honey nut. It's very sweet, and again, having a label is very important. So that the seed was started on April the 5th, and it then went into the ground on April 22nd. I don't always keep on top of labeling, but that's pretty good. So that's the end of P5. So P6, this tomato looks very good. This is a snapdragon, and then this is sweet alyssum that I started from seed. It's supposed to attract hoverflies, and hoverflies are beneficial. They eat, I think they eat aphids, or they're very beneficial to have in the garden. And then there's blushing tomatoes in here. I did harvest some baby tomatoes or cherry type tomatoes further in that area over there. And then that's French tarragon. Leticia I was able to give her a branch of it, and she made tea, and she said it was really good. This is aroma type tomato, and I did harvest one early on in the week. It was blushing. So, and I'm glad I did, because I just heard that the person next to us in another enclosure, they caught 2 rats. So they are definitely coming in here, and if something starts to smell good, rats can do quite a bit of damage. So harvesting that early on, blushing means it will still ripen on the counter. So FYI. So moving on, this is another tomato. Ooh, I see one that I'm going to make my way there. I'm in a forest of tomato plant here. But I'll make my way to P6, and I think I'm going to pick that tomato because, let me check it before I do. Oh yeah, it's really good. I'm going to go ahead and pick that right on camera. And there you go. Look at that. Isn't that a beauty? I mean, there's some cracking. That's a sign of inconsistent watering, but it's not bad. So Leticia did add some fertilizer today on, I think, most of the plants, the big ones. It's organic, so it shouldn't burn the roots. And she did come by for a little while with some family, so it was really good to meet some of her family. And then this is large leaf basil over here. And another tomato. Let's see, I can check out those baby tomatoes. I think also this was from the other side of Leticia's enclosure on her side, which was a transplant in the ground. I just transplanted it here because there was empty space. So wherever there's been space, and she's given me free reign to put things where I feel like I would want to and would do well. And then this is basil. So this is a Genovese basil and a marigold. And marigolds are beneficial anywhere you put them. So they had started in this row, like the seeds were sown very, very heavily. So I actually thinned everything out, and since it was early on in the season, I was able to transplant some of those starts in sporadic areas throughout the garden. So here there's probably about 3 or 4 in each spot. So I might go ahead and thin this out further if I see that it's the plants are not doing too well. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the end of P6. I think I'm going to end the video here and continue on the next vlog in this row. I wasn't quite done. There are a few things more I might have to mention because they're quite substantial. Along with this trellising going up is I did cover up all the holes for the gophers that were trapped early on in the season, or the attempt to do so. So everywhere there's a bamboo stake in the garden is where an actual gopher was captured. It's called a pocket gopher. That's what this area is known for having. So that was quite a bit of work. There was a lot of disturbance here, so that was kind of leveled out, and Leticia did prune back this artichoke. Here's another stake here where the gopher, where there's a gopher, actually it's buried right there. Maybe that's too much information, but and then the tromboncino squash, I might be pronouncing that wrong, but it really took off, and I was able to train it up the trellis here and clean things up really nicely over here. It looks so good. I did remove some of the dead and dying branches at the bottom, and this was one branch that I did keep in place, and that's an actual ladybug. So I thought that's what it looks like when it's starting off. Very beneficial to the garden. The cucumber plants here are starting to produce. I believe it was one of these over here that had 2 cucumbers, which Leticia's family picked. They were so happy. And then I noticed that one of the lemongrasses from the 2 that were planted, one was planted in this area over here, and the second one is over here. It is actually putting out green growth, so this is encouraging from the middle. And the reason I mention that is I was at an Asian store yesterday, and I picked up 3 more stems that look like potential stems that can root, and started those. So might have some more, so I can plant that elsewhere. And then this is the Spanish melon. There were 2 in each spot, so I thinned it out. I kept the healthiest, most vibrant one. So look at that, isn't that beautiful? And then here's the one. So these dead leaves on the side here are, or the prune leaves are what got taken down. And then the squash is doing really good. Leticia is going to be picking some more. Each day I come, it looks bigger and bigger. I did not get to filling the gopher holes here, or where I was digging around to figure out where to set the traps. So there was one area here, and then another area over here, which I actually trapped a gopher. So there's the bamboo stake, as I mentioned. So I'll do this later on when I come back, and might see it on the next vlog, where it looks a little more tamed, or much better. This is not encouraging here. It looks like a gopher might have come in. Just gonna move it along here. Yeah, it's possible that a gopher got in again, but we'll address that as I see activity. And then this is another big hole that I was trying to figure out from the perimeter of where it could be coming from. I'll let Leticia know about the one here by her wildflowers. But the tomatoes are looking really good. I did do some weeding, mostly on the side that my rows are on, and Leticia has been working on her side here, but she's been picking the sunflowers, and I did tag 2 of them, this one for seed and this one for seed. This is a yellow one, and this is a multicolored, like a maroon with yellow. They're beautiful. Over there. Hopefully the mice or rats don't get to it. Still to do is to thin out all the beans. I did put them between the rows just to cover the ground. They're taking their time now that it's really warmed up, but I'm glad I got it in when I did. Some of the spots have 2 or 3 seedlings, so I might thin it down to, if it has 3, definitely to 2, and maybe later on to 1. Because, for example, the mung bean, that one might not need as much space as the black-eyed peas. So the black-eyed peas are in this row, right here. And looks like I thinned this well, pretty well. But there's 2 on this, 2 over here and over here. So I'll thin that out later. This row has beans, and actually Leticia was able to harvest some very small ones, and they're putting on flowers. And this is actually soybean. That's what it looks like. So I have a few that are actually going to give me some soybeans. There's another soybean here. Looks like there's 2 here. I missed that one. But let me see if I can find a regular bean here. There we go. That's a baby bean. And I believe this is the Kalima bean, or calamar. A bigger one over here. So in 2 days, these should be ready. I see quite a few now that I'm just looking around. Yeah, so those were the last few things I needed to mention. And this will end the vlog for today. Again, I'd like to say thank you for watching and happy gardening.